Facebooks. So, one second, guys. So, okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me clearly. So I'm noticing that I am able to go live on some platforms and not all. And these are not the ones that I want to only go live on. I want to make sure that I can go on live on them all. And I have no idea why it's doing this. Hmm. Okay, I think I'm live now. Looks like it might be going live on all the platforms now. Won't he do it? Let's see. Yes. All right. I think we are good to go. So let me go ahead and put my camera on. Hopefully you guys can hear. The next step is fixing this audio because the audio is just not right. But, beggars can't be choosy. We got to be happy with what we got. If you guys can hear me, go ahead and let me know. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, the audio is still a little bit jacked up, but go ahead and type into the chat space. Currently, right now, we are broadcasting on Facebook and 4 different Facebook groups. We're broadcasting on YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and even Twitch. I'm even broadcasting on Twitch. I don't have any followers yet on Twitch, but I'm broadcasting there. So let me know if you guys can hear me clearly. Just go ahead and type into the chat space. And we're going to get started very soon. So I hope you guys can hear. Let me go ahead and pull up on Instagram on my phone. Awesome. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So I was actually, thank you, Dakisha. Hey, Dakisha. What I was trying to do is, so I actually stream utilizing 2 different softwares. So the software that I use that does the layovers is called Ecamm. And this is a software that is used for all Apple MacBooks, Mac Minis, Mac, anything Apple. As far as computers go, that's how you're able to broadcast utilizing Ecamm, and it gives you customized layovers. So for those of you who are watching like on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, you can see the overlay where it says ask me anything. For those on Instagram though, you can only really kind of see like this cool looking phone. And so that the reason why I love using this second software that I'm going to tell you guys about is because it allows me to stream onto Instagram at the same time. So I'm able to actually stream onto Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and I'm on 5 different Facebook pages right now because I have multiple groups. So that this software is called OneStream that allows me to then take my Ecamm broadcast and then basically shoot it out to all these different channels utilizing OneStream. So hello, redefine your beauty. I'm glad you can hear me. And hey, Matt. Hey, Matt Brooks, what's going on? I'm so happy that you're happy. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. So today we're going to be opening this up for question and answer. I don't know where everybody is chiming in from. Hopefully you guys are able to hear me loud and clear. Eventually though, because what I was doing when I was setting it up, I was trying to set it up so that, because it looked like I would be able to actually add comments to the screen. I just got to figure it out. Well, once I figure it out, we'll be gold. But for those of you guys that are here, yeah, go ahead and type what city and state you guys are chiming in from. Hello, Los Angeles. What's going on, Rod? How are you? Hello. What's up? As you guys come on in, definitely put your city and state. Again, we're broadcasting all over the place. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, using one device. I know how a lot of times people are broadcasting on their different platforms and they're using like 3 phones or 3 different devices. And so I love being able to use OneStream because it allows me to just basically stream from one thing. So yes, put your city and state into the chat. LA is in the building. We've got Southfield, Michigan. We have Richmond, Virginia. Hello. As you guys come on in, let me know what city and state you guys are chiming in from. And basically, if you want to check this out on all the different platforms and see what it looks like, all you have to do is search Vision Avant. So if you want to go to YouTube to see what it looks like on YouTube, search Vision Avant, Facebook, Vision Avant, LinkedIn, etc., etc. So anywho, I'm grateful to be here, guys. As you guys are typing in your cities and states, please continue to do that. I see we have Atlanta. We have is it RDI? Exxon or something. Hope I said that correct. Claudie Hamilton, Atlanta, Georgia. Hello, hello. My name is Taria Vision Avant, and I work with speakers. I work with coaches. I work with those in the network marketing space. I show them how to really grow their business by leveraging the right book. 2012, I wrote my very first book. And y'all, I don't know where my books are. I've been picking up my books, showing them everywhere, walking around doing events. And so one of my books, I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it, but I wrote this book, very first book, back in 2012 when I was in network marketing, using the book to grow my network marketing business. I didn't realize that at the time, not only would I be able to use it to grow my business, but it actually opened up doors for me to be able to speak in in front of different audiences when leveraging it, right? And so when learning to leverage it the right way. In 2015, I decided to step away from building in network marketing and becoming a full-time coach. I have coached now well over 6,000 plus men and women to become authors. However, one thing that I was noticing is that while I was helping them to write books, most people were not knowing how to market, promote, like really promote, profit, and get those books to perform. Because my initial mindset was not necessarily being a publisher. I've never even really liked to call myself a publisher. I wanted to show individuals how to get the book to grow their business, and so, or how to use your book to grow your business. And so it was kind of like, I was like, oh, I don't want to get into the space of just only being a book publisher. Like when somebody called me their publisher one day, I was like, oh, honey, that is not what I am. I am a coach. Okay. And so in 2019, we launched Book Profits Club, which was designed to not only just help brand new authors get their books done, but really showing authors how to be profitable, how to promote, how to be able to get their books to perform, and also really building multiple streams of income. The average author, in fact, not average, 80%, that's over average, right? 80% of authors never make more than $10,000 a year. And that also combines with the coaching industry. So if you guys are coaches, okay, Claude, like Claude, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. Got you. Well, yeah, that phonetic spelling looked like it's a Claude instead of, but when you said Jean-Claude Van Damme, that works. Okay, good. All right, North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina is here in the house. So anyway, so now my goal is not just showing individuals how to write books. So if you want to come to me to write your next book, honey, that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to help individuals not become a part of the 80%. I want to show authors how to be profitable, how to leverage their books, how to turn their books into multiple streams of income. And specifically, the people that I work with are going to be speakers, they're going to be coaches, they're going to be in the network marketing space. They're going to be individuals that are leveraging their books, right? So that's what I'm here to do. So anyways, again, how y'all doing as you come on in? We are actually live. We are live. This is a live broadcast, so it's not recorded. So as you guys come in, go ahead and let me know, where you guys are chiming in from. And I'm about to open this up so that you guys can actually ask questions. Okay, so I want you guys to be able to ask questions. And I'm going to be here for about a good hour or so, just literally answering all the questions that you may have when it comes to being an author, leveraging your book for speaking, also even leveraging your book to launch coaching businesses. And so I've been able to effectively help thousands of over 6,000 men and women to become authors. But now the mission is this year helping 1,000 authors to generate over $10,000 plus per month, showing them how to get to that $10,000 a month income level. Now, just so you know, that is not a statistic. Listen, you know what's crazy too in this world of coaching and speaking and things like that? While the information industry is such a huge industry, in fact, they were saying back in 2020 that by 2025, the information industry would be a $250 billion industry. Well, it's already surpassed the $250 billion because a lot of people didn't know that we were about to go into a pandemic, right? And so now, because the way that the world operates, a lot of people are looking for ways to not only, make more money, to be healthier, to have better relationships. A lot of things happened during the lockdown. So now people are willing to invest into information. And the question is getting yourself in front of them. Are you doing it right? Or are you just duplicating yourself and sounding like every single other person out here that's talking about what they help people to do? And that's really, I think, where my gift is really being able to show you guys that what you've experienced in your life and what you know how to do is good enough to make 6 and 7 figures. So guys, go ahead and type your questions. If you have any questions, again, welcome everybody that's joining in live. Hello, hello, hello. I'm watching you all join in, but make sure y'all make this interactive. Hopefully you guys are still chatting and typing in the chat space and letting me know how you guys are doing. Right? So hopefully you guys are still in that chat space. I am hoping that one day I'll be able to, what I was trying to do was type a little, let me see, thingy down here. But yeah, this will be an opportunity for you guys to ask me all kind of questions, whatever you want to do. I'm going to type here in the chat space and see. Child, this computer. I did a wipe of it, but it's still not going all the way. So type in your questions. We are live. I don't know where everybody is watching. I know right now I'm looking on my Instagram through my phone, but again, we're broadcasting on the Facebook, we're broadcasting on the YouTube, LinkedIn, we're on Twitter. We are all over the place, baby. Okay. So type your questions in and I'm going to be answering them for you guys as you type them in. So a lot of times I always try to kind of help probe you on like what kind of questions to ask. Many people want to know, things like, okay, my book, I don't know what to write about, or maybe you want to know where you should get it published or how to get it published or where should you print? Maybe how can you leverage it when you're speaking at an event that's coming up? This is what I am here to help you with. Most authors don't really know how to leverage their book. And let me just even add this in. One of the things that I notice a lot from authors is that once a book is done, they're like, woo. And then, we as a community, we really run after titles. And so we push to get whatever the title is. And we think that all of a sudden now everything is just going to fall on my lap. Everything's going to be great. Hallelujah. Here comes the money. And the truth is that you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You got to be willing to extend your information, your value to people who may be wanting what it is that you have. So type your questions in, guys, and I am going to be here to assist you and help answer anything. I hope, are y'all still tired? Are y'all typing? Ain't nobody typing. Let me make sure. Test. I want to make sure that it's still popping through. Okay. All right. Here we go. So we have a question that has come through, and this is coming from Instagram. And it's all love. It's all love. I like that. All right. So how do you know when writing a book, how do you know when writing your book? How do you know when writing your book? I don't know what the question is. What should be your direction? I'm not sure if you could be a little bit more specific. I really don't understand the question. Are you asking me, how do you know when to write a book? Is that what you're asking? So if that's what you're asking, how do you know when to write a book? When you want to make some money. Really, when you want to make money. Let me just explain something to you guys. So if you are trying to figure out if this is a good time for you to write a book, I'll give you a couple of ways to know. If you have a business and you're trying to grow your business, you should write a book. If you are wanting to become a public speaker, you should write a book. If you want to get into the coaching space, you should write a book. If you want people if you want to build influence, you should write a book. If you want to make money, you should write a book. See, right now, one of the best things that you could ever do for yourself is to create something that also builds legacy, but you're teaching other people how to overcome something. Now, what I teach, ladies and gentlemen, and this is where it's very difficult for some people to detach themselves emotionally from what they want to write about. See, the truth is that most of you guys, you don't know me. You never heard of me. Maybe this is your first time seeing me live, or maybe somebody connected, but you don't really care about my life. Not yet. Most of y'all don't care. And I'm here to say, I bet everybody here, if I was to ask everybody right now to type into the chat space, who has ever experienced challenges in their life, who got a story to tell, every single one of us will say that. And so the way that, and I'm so grateful, because when I wrote my very first book, I never wrote it for the intention of telling my story. I wrote it with the specific goal of using it to recruit more people into my network marketing business. So my goal was never to tell my story. It was to recruit more people. In the process, I was able to tell my story. So what I did was I wrote a book about things that I knew how to do. And so typically what I tell my students is, when you're thinking about what you should write about, if you're not already in the coaching space or you don't really know what you want to speak about, I want you to pretend that every single person that you see has a big sign on their forehead that says, "Please help me," or "How can you help me?" Like, how can you help me? Literally, I want you to treat everybody, when you walk by them, pretend they have a sign on their forehead that says, "How can you help me?" And the way that every single one of us on here that's watching this live, the way that you can help someone is by teaching them how to do something that you know how to do. Now, this is the thing that we tend to do, is we will discredit the stuff that we know how to do because we already know how to do it. We don't think it's a big deal. But the truth is this, and everybody, if you're watching, type this in the chat space. If they'll Google it, they'll pay for it. See, the truth is somebody right now is literally Googling in the world. Somebody's, not just one, it's a lot. They are Googling how to do something that you know how to do. Let me be more specific. Maybe you know how to overcome a heartbreak, a breakup. Maybe you were cheated on. And you have a whole thing that you did that helps you to heal faster. Okay? Somebody right now is needing to know how to do that. Maybe for those of you, you were able to write a resume that was just so phenomenal, and this resume is getting you hired left and right. Well, somebody right now is Googling how to write a resume. Maybe on top of the resume, you know how to interview really well. See, I remember when I went to college, and I went to Hampton University, shout out to all of my HBCUs. I went to college, right? And they never taught me how to interview. So I remember never had a class about interviewing. Do y'all know that? Imagine someone specifically focuses on teaching college graduates how to interview. And they target either the graduate and even the parents, right? And so now I'm a career coach where I teach you how to land that very first career salary job. Now, but Taria, I want to tell my story. Listen, I need y'all to understand this. And this is our ego getting in the way. Our ego, we make it about us. When we take us out the equation, we make it about the person who we're helping. And right now, people need you to show them how to do what you know how to do. I typically recommend that when you put the life story of Taria Vision Avant or your name, generally the time when people want to have your life story is when everybody already knows it. When you walk in a room of 10,000 people and everybody's like, "Oh my God, there he goes. Oh my God, there she is." Like, that's the time to write it. But until then, if you want to build up your name, build up your presence, and change more lives, you got to pick a specific time in your life where you were able to go from A to B. And then in that space, you write a book about that. And then now you are the expert in it, and people will hire you to come and teach about that. But guess what? If you're now teaching individuals how to overcome being betrayed by your best friends, and you're teaching them how to overcome betrayal, hello? Guess what? You're going to have to tell your story when they hire you to come and teach, or when they hire you to be the keynote, because people need to know, how do you qualify yourself? Guess what? In your book where you're teaching people how to be able to create, like maybe you work with professional women who are super busy. They're single, but they want to settle down. This is your niche, right? They want to settle down. They're professional. They make a 6-figure income, and they need to know how to make quick meals, right? So how to cook a meal and seal the deal. 7 secrets all professional women need to know to get the man of their dreams. What? And so in there, let's say you do a book on 7 different things that they need to do, right? Because, one thing, and I always try to give us grace, women and men, I always say that nobody's teaching us, especially in my community, how to be a wife, and nobody's definitely teaching men how to be husbands, right? Unless you come up in a household, and that's a very small percentage of us in our community, right? So you now teach professional women how to be able to seal the deal with a man by teaching them the 7 secrets of the things they need to do. And then imagine, because you're actually a chef. So watch how I'm about to freak this. So you really what you want to do is you want to start selling. You're a chef and you've come out with like a new cookware line. So I'm teaching you how to use a book to even grow your own business. So you have this wonderful cookware line that you want to now sell, right? Or maybe you have seasonings that you want to sell. And so what you do is you now create a book that has 7 chapters that are going over different things. One of the chapters is going to be on cooking, but the other 6, you find people that are in that space, whether it's through getting a psychologist, learning to talk about your challenges, getting a dating coach, getting a fitness expert. You can find people in all those different 6 chapters that can contribute to the chapter. You've now become the expert of I forgot what I said the title was. It was real fire, but of teaching professional women how to seal the deal and getting the man of their dreams. But your chapter on cooking, you focus on making sure that you got ready-made phenomenal cookware. You want to make sure that you got the best seasonings. These are the seasonings that we interviewed and most men fell in love with. You know what I'm saying? And so now guess what? You're now people are inviting you to come onto their media, to news shows, their radio stations, because you wrote a book that talks about professional women and the alarming number of single professional women. And you're going to be talking about, hey, yeah, these are some of the steps that I teach. And you're going to hone in on the cooking, because professional women, they may not know, you found that maybe they don't know how to cook. And these are some things that you teach, because your goal is to actually sell your seasonings. So you're leveraging your book, but you're teaching something to a specific target audience in your book. And guess what? You build partnerships with these other people that are therapists and fitness experts and everything else. You build partnerships with them. So when them people do business with them because of you, you get another stream of income. So I literally just showed you how to turn a book where you talk about 7 secrets every professional woman should know to get the man of her dreams. One of the secrets is yours, and the other 6 is for the partnerships that you build. That's literally 7 streams of income. And all you have to do is focus on leveraging and getting that book in front of the right audience. Can I get an amen, somebody? Can I get a amen? See, I'm a beast when it comes to this. I don't know what y'all talking about. I'm the best in the blend when it comes to understanding what to write about. But a lot of times, guys, we get so hung up on telling my story. Do y'all know that next week, your story will be different? Next week, your story will change. Do y'all know that tomorrow your story will change? How can you write your life story if your life is still happening? But there are specific points in your life that you can actually talk about that somebody right now is Googling. Hello? There are specific points in your life that you can actually talk about and someone is Googling. So, hey, Chanel, how are you? Cutter Looks, how you doing? So I'm going to... And the easiest way to figure out who you should serve is thinking about yourself. So you got to think about your story and think about where you've gone, right? So a lot of times we want to create a target audience of people who can't even relate to us. Think about it. Have y'all ever had someone that you've done business with because you related to them? Or you felt like they could understand your pain because they've been through it? Well, that's how you should always be as well when you're thinking about who do you serve. When I first got started teaching individuals to write books, my specific, and it's still the same, my target audience has never changed. My specific target audience has specific characteristics, but this is the deal. Let me tell you how God works. See, what happens is even though a lot of my posts, if you pay attention to what I post, they really cater to that of the single woman who makes a certain type of income. She's not really much of a clout chaser. No shade to anybody that may feel like I'm calling them. I ain't calling them. I'm just saying, like, she really don't care about the things that most people think are what, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, stuff like that. Well, she likes nice things, but she's more focused on the purpose in life, right? But she likes to make money. She likes to travel. She also is, you know, one who definitely wants to give back to the community, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what? She wants to be able to leverage her book to grow a business. Now, when I said she, notice I said she and everything like that. But guess what, y'all? Because I stayed focused on who I serve and I started serving them, that means helping them to become authors, teaching them to be profitable. Guess what starts to happen? I start to get receipts. People start sharing that I've been helping them. When somebody says, hey, do you know someone who writes books or helps people to create profitable books or teaches authors how to be profitable? Oh, Taria Vision Avant. She is the queen of book profiting. They start referring me business because I focused and honed in on an audience that could relate to me, because I've been helping them, getting them results. The results now start to get shared out. And now I've got men joining. I've got married women. I've got all nationalities. I have all ages. There's no limit to who I serve now. But it wasn't always the case. And even still to today, just because I serve men that come in my book camps, just because I serve maybe even married couples. I've had couples come through my book camps and write their books. Just because I serve all nationalities. I had a young lady who was 72 years young who came through my book camp, and she was working through everything. When people try to tell me they're too old, they can't write no book, please. And she out here wrote a book about relationships, killing it. Okay. Or I've got people who are, who have, multiple kids. And I have a young lady who's a full-time doctor. And with multiple children. She's a wife. She's extremely busy. Not necessarily wasn't an entrepreneur. I was looking for entrepreneur. But guess what? Because of the receipts, the results that I've received, she's come on board as well. So I want y'all to understand, when you can focus in on identifying your audience based upon who you are, right? Or where you've come from, people can relate to you. They'll want to join you. They'll want to read your book. And then once you start helping more people in the space where you help them, guess what? You're going to have referrals. You're going to have your network expand, but you don't change your marketing. You don't change your content. You still make sure that you continue to talk to that person, but people are going to refer you business. Does that make sense, guys? Hopefully that does. So hopefully that does. All right. Does anybody have any additional questions? Well, thank you so much. Redefine L. Marie, darling. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Y'all type y'all questions in the chat space. If y'all have any additional questions about books, publishing, writing, coaching, how do you start the coaching business? How do you leverage a book to grow your business, whatever your business is? Maybe you got a candle product. If you want an idea on what you could write about, let me know what you got going on. Hey, what's going on? DJ Retro out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Hello, darling. Yes. All right, y'all. So go ahead and type your questions in if you have any questions. Now, I know somebody asked something about publishing. I believe it was same person. So I know you guys asked a question about how do you go about publishing your book? And I want to tell you I call it, there's three main phases, right? To be an author, right? So 3 phases to writing these books and getting them printed. Now, I do not teach how to create ebooks and sell them for $50. Because I want y'all to remember, I'm not in the space of teaching people to just become authors. I'm teaching people how to leverage their book to build their business. So one of the things I want you to understand that is great about having a printed book is this right here trumps any and every way of how people introduce you and how you introduce you. This is one of the best business cards you could ever give out. It's a $5 business card. In many cases, it's less than that. It's not going to cost you a lot. And I'm going to tell you this, if you're sitting beside someone who is an ideal prospect, somebody who maybe you came out with a workout line, right? Some fitness line, right? So you're going to leverage your book that talks about, being in shape and being fit, right? And one of the things you talk about is your line in the book. right? Well, instead of saying, hey, well, I sell a fitness line, you say, hey, I'm the author of Get in Shape, just 5 minutes a day, something like that. You know what I'm saying? And you know, this person they have the money to invest into your products and services. They probably also have the network. Am I going to be stressed about selling this little $20 book? No, I'm going to give them the book and I'm going to get their contact information and I'm going to follow up with them. And maybe my products, I can say, hey, let's do a demonstration party. Invite some of your friends. I'm going to bring some copies of my book, some champagne, healthy champagne, and we're going to be able to, test out the products. Now the person has a tangible product that they can show. Oh, look, I got the author of Get in Shape 5 minutes a day. She's actually coming to my house, y'all. What? Think about it. The title author alone is extremely prestigious. People, when you hear the title author, people are like, that is dope. You wrote a book? Because 97% of the population wants to write it, but an ebook don't let that person show the evidence. Ain't nobody finna send an ebook to someone talking about, hey, check out their ebook. No, you need to give them a physical copy. Boom, here you go. Right? So let's talk about the 3 phases of writing your book. So the first phase of writing your book is the preparation. Okay. The preparation is the most important part to the whole process, where most people don't even think about. They don't think about the fact, okay, let me sit down and think on this. First of all, when we just talked about who is going to read your book, right? Who's going to read your book? Who's going to read that book and get the value from your book? So the reader is going to be very important that you identify. And so we have an exercise that we call the 20 characteristics of your $3,000 customer. Baby, I never wrote a book to make $20 from each person. By the way, everybody type this in the chat. Book money is no money. Book money is no money. See, if your only focus is to write a book to sell it, y'all, to make $10,000 a month selling books, that's a heavy grind. And I don't know about y'all, but I love my nights. I don't know about y'all, but I love my freedom. I like to go to the movies. I don't like working from sunup to sundown. I never became an entrepreneur, and I definitely didn't become a coach so that my business could own me. I don't have that kind of time. So what I do is I leverage my book so that I can be able to build multiple streams of income. Hey, I'm Richard Sensei. I like when people participate. Dr. Dacia's in the house, right? I love when people participate. Redefine Your Beauty says book money is no money. That's what I'm talking about. Type it in the chat, y'all. So I never wrote the book to sell it. So I made sure when I wrote my very first book, which was a 6-figure vision, I sat down and I thought about, okay, how am I going to leverage it? Remember what I told you right at the beginning? I wrote it because at the time I was in network marketing. So I created ways of how I would use it to recruit more people into my business. And not only in width, so if we have any network marketers that are listening, not only in width, right, but in depth. So I would use my book as promotional material, promotional tools, because wow, what a cool way for someone to go out and prospect people if they've got a copy of your book. And your book might talk about whatever, it doesn't matter, but let's say connect it to like the product or service that you're in. So my book was a book on success principles. At the time, I was in a coffee business. And so I sat down and figured out how was I going to leverage it. Now, when I stepped out of network marketing and became a full-time coach, and by the way, I coached several 6- and 7-figure network marketers on leveraging their books, okay? But when I decided to be a coach, I then had to revamp the book and figure out, okay, who is my audience? Most people never think about that. You know what most authors do? And this is why they never sell. They say, everybody gonna read my book. Child. Come on now. Do everybody go and watch Harry Potter? I don't know how many of y'all. It's a new movie, a new show that just came out, and it's from the Lord of the Rings. Like it's a spinoff from the Lord of the Rings with the little elves. And so, anyways, I saw that somebody gave it a 1-star review. The reason I don't listen to people reviews about stuff no more because I like quirky stuff like Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. Child, I was watching that daggone show. I didn't even realize it was like a show. I thought it was a movie, and it was a show. It's only got 2 episodes. I'm feeding. Can't wait for the 3rd, but somebody gave it a 1-star. You know why? Because that show was not for them. It was only for the people who like that type of stuff. We all are out here living in a fantasy world thinking that everybody's going to relate to your book, because the challenges that an 18-year-old has, I say this all the time, Challenges of an 18-year-old are not the same of challenges of a 21-year-old. A woman who's 21, who's found out she is pregnant, who's in college right now, trying to get her degree, are not the same challenges of a woman who's 35, married, making a close to high six-figure salary, and her husband is too. They got two different challenges going on, baby. Do you understand what I'm saying? Versus a man who just newly became single to a brand new baby, right? Because this happens where, unfortunately, especially in our community, more of us are losing our lives at birth, with the birth of our children that they ain't talking about. And then now the man is now a new single father versus a man who's now been divorced from his wife and they share custody of their these are four different people with four different steps of success that they're going to need in order to obtain the level of balance that they need in their life. Do you understand what I'm saying here? Right? So you got to know and you got to plan that out. So the first portion is planning it out, thinking about how are you going to leverage it? You know, are you going to make it a controversial type of book so it can maybe possibly land you on certain platforms? Is it going to be a book about scripture? Because maybe you want to be a certain Christian or religious conferences and things like that. You know, it's a lot of big religious conferences out here, right? You know that you could write a book specifically just for those conferences that you could be able to pitch that book to the people who organize it. The only conference out here was not MegaFest. It's a lot of them. It's a lot of big pastors where they may always be looking for additional speakers to come and teach on some tangible steps on things that they need to do. Are y'all catching up what I'm putting down? Are y'all catching what I'm putting down? So that's the first part, the planning. The second portion of putting your book together is so we do the preparation. And now it's time for actually really not the publishing, but it's more of the writing portion, right? So in this writing, now that you've planned it out, now we want to start writing. And the way that I teach in our 3-day boot camp, which by the way, y'all know we got a 3-day boot camp where we promise 80% of your book will be done or your money back. And y'all, we have people that are literally getting their books done. We got a young lady just finished the boot camp we had in July, August, September, October. Yeah. And she's already doing her launch next week. She's doing her conference. We do virtual conferences and stuff like that for clients. It's going to be lit. But anyways, so she's doing her conference. That means the book is already print, shipped, and everything, ready to go. She went through our boot camp, and now her book is done, right? Well, in the writing process, this is where you now take everything that you've thought about and you put the content in there. Many authors, when they're creating the content of their manuscript, they're writing it as though this is the end all be all. How many of you guys know that most people do not buy self-help books because they expect the self-help book to be the end all be all? What most people are doing when they buy a self-help book is they're looking for confirmation because they really want you to help them. How many of us know what I'm talking about? Most people really want you to work with them. They want to know, hey, does this person have what it takes for me to spend more money? Because if they'll spend $20 with you, as long as you are showing them that there's value in your value, right, they'll be willing to spend more. And so most people, when they buy this book, Don't Go Broke Trying to Be a Business Owner, they're looking for a coach. And they're going to say, okay, let me read the principles. Let me see if this is great. But if you do not offer them other opportunity, guess what's going to happen? You ain't going to get none. But if you tell them in the book, hey, I've got another coaching program. Hey, I've got a retreat. Hey, I've got people that I work with I can connect you. Hey, I've got a product. I'll never forget the way that I found out about back in the day, ClickFunnels. Everybody's heard about ClickFunnels, right? Well, Russell Brunson had an ad where you could get his book for free and just pay shipping and handling. Technically, what was happening is you were basically paying for the print cost and the shipping because it ended up being like $10, right? So they're not coming out of pocket. They might have come out of pocket every now and then, just depending upon where it's being shipped. But then they would upsell you because the whole book was telling you about building out funnels. And now that you've read it and the way that they break it down, now you're like, dang, I got to pay for ClickFunnels. And so then you end up spending $97 a month. And then for some of you, once you start building more funnels, you're up to $297 a month, right? So that book was designed to lead people to purchase his software. Does that make sense, guys? So you got to plan your book out. And then the final process is the publishing. So now that you've planned it, now that you've written it, then you want to publish it. And so this is how I break it down. To me, publishing is nothing more than having your cover designed professionally, not by Pookie and them. No shade, no tea, but some of y'all be design. Just because Canva got templates don't mean that's where you're gonna design. Listen, you got to know a cover has certain format, dimensions on it. The spine has to be done a certain way. The back cover, y'all, there's certain things that you want to make sure are on the back cover. There's a big look at this. Let me see if I can zoom it. Well, I'm gonna just put it up close, see if y'all can see it. This was my very first book I ever wrote, y'all. I went to a course, cost me $10,000 to learn how to write a book. This is a public domain book. So we weren't taught how to write our own book. Public domain book, The Golden Rule for Making Money. The back cover is a whole long paragraph or something. I don't even know. It's just too long. It looks boring. Nobody's reading it. It doesn't stand out. Look at this book. This is how all my covers now I do them. You see this? It pops. You can't even read it, but you can tell it looks totally different. It's got bullet points. It's got different colors. It's got contact information. Jesus. I can't tell you how many times I see people with their back covers and there's no contact information at all. So you're assuming that every single person that's looking at the book is someone who's bought it. If your book is good enough, people should be able to see the title, flip that baby over and say, ooh, let me take a picture real quick so that I can follow them on the gram or social media, or maybe I can go to the website and be able to get a copy for myself. And so these are things we don't know, because when you're getting a graphic designer who is not a marketer, they don't know these principles. So you got to make sure your cover is done right. Then you're also going to get your manuscript edited. Now, it depends on what type of manuscript you have. If you have a biography or a memoir, which, you know, I don't teach those, there is a different style of editing. Okay. You're going to have somebody to edit the flow of the book, right? However, if you're doing a self-help how-to, like with 7 steps too, you literally just need someone that can edit for grammar and punctuation. Now, finding good editors can possibly take time, but you want to find a great editor. And there's so many outsourcing websites. Get a freelancer, Upwork. I don't recommend using Fiverr for something like this, because Fiverr is like a one and done type of deal. You need someone that's going to stick around. So you get it edited first. Then once you have gotten it edited and you reviewed the edits, depending upon, you know, how many reviews this editor, you might need to get it edited again. And so I always have my editors to send back my manuscripts with what I like to call the markup changes on, where it has the little red lines. And so you can approve every single update that they've done, because I want to be able to see what they said, because some of the words they might think that they need to update it, but it might be something that's slang that I want to stay in there, right? Like, I don't like my editors to take out my vernacular at all. I want my tonality to be in my book. So if I say child, please, I do not want my editor to change it to child, please. I say CHILE, child, please, right? You understand what I'm saying? Y'all understand what I'm saying? So I make sure that my editor keeps all of my markup changes so I can approve it. And I also do it for all my clients, because I need them to see how much work was put into their manuscript. And depending upon if this is the first time using them, you might need to hire, after you approve all the edits, hire one more time someone else to have a look at your manuscript so they can edit for grammar and punctuation. Then once you're done, you got everything set up, you got it all up in there. Your next step is to get it formatted. This should be someone else. So I have editors on my staff, and then I have a formatting team on my staff. My formatting team, that's all they do. And let me tell you why. Especially for those of you who are publishers, or you're getting into the book, you know, helping other people write books. Don't rely upon one person to do it all. Because, child, if something happened to that one, your business is SOL, okay? That's a whole nother training in its own, right? So I have a separate team that all they do is the formatting. So what you want to do with formatting is you need to go and look at other books, see how those books are laid out. And you're going to be sending that person like images and ideas of what you want the book to look like. If you want something on the top, what you want the font to be, what the page numbers, how do you want the table of contents? You might want to send them a picture if you want the table of contents to be a certain way, if you want your cover page to be a certain way. These are all the things that your formatter is going to do. They're going to resize it for print. You got to know what size you want. I also like to, based on size, I tell my my formatter, I say, listen, I want my book to be this number of pages. I typically recommend a good length of your book is 100 to 150 pages. And anything beyond 150 pages, y'all, that's kind of long. It's a little excessive. People really don't like reading big, thick books anymore. They want to have something that's small enough for them to be able to read quickly. Matter of fact, in the way that we actually format our manuscripts with our book campers, people end up reading those books in a day. They love them. Okay. So that's the formatting. Now, once your book is ready, then you're going to finalize your cover with your designer, because they got to know what the final length of your book is so that they can make sure your spine is right and your barcode and all those different things. And now it's time for you to upload your book to the printer. There's so many different printing companies out there that you can actually use. You don't always have to just use Amazon. And I know, listen, y'all, I know that we live in a world where everybody is out here praising being an Amazon seller, top seller and stuff. I wish that our community, and I believe that we're going into a space where we're getting better at this, but we're not so desperate for the title, because I know a lot of Amazon top sellers, or whatever they might want to call themselves, that nobody has read their book. You can become a top seller by pre-selling a $1 book or even a free book, and it could be a 75 to 100 based upon the category. And so, are we truly impacting lives if we're categorizing our books in the wrong category just so that we can say we're an Amazon top seller? I've literally never had anybody make a decision to read my book because I was or was not an Amazon top seller. Literally, I've never had it. Now, is striving to be... Hold up. What just stopped? It said just stop. Oh, I think it stopped on my one stream. Okay, cool. Now, is striving to be a New York bestseller a bad thing? No, because that's the official. But it take a lot of books. You got to sell. I think it's 5,000 books that you have to sell in a certain amount of time for you to be listed as a New York's bestseller. So now you can pre-sell your books up to, but that's not my specialty. I teach people how to leverage their books to build multiple streams of income. So you can print on Amazon, which is KDP. They've got Lulu, LULU.com. They've got the Book Patch, which is another great printer. The company that I use that's here in Atlanta, Georgia, whose quality of books is amazing. So like this book right here, I'm trying to think where I got this printed. I got this printed from this particular one. I feel that I got this printed from a company called Alpha Graphics. There's several Alpha Graphics. In fact, they're like a franchise company that they're all over the U.S. They sometimes could get your stuff done very, very quickly, but the quality is not going to be the same. It's not bad, but if like you just need to have something ASAP, if you have one that's local, Alpha Graphics is great, and I have a really good one in Houston that I used all the time. They would always look out. But when I talk about quality, so this is this company printed this one, and this is a company by the name of BookLogix who printed these manuscripts. I like matte kind of finish though. I like a matte finish. This feels so good. It feels so like rich. It just feels wealthy. Their quality is great. Even the pages are great. So I love BookLogix. They are here in Atlanta. So if you print from them locally, you can go pick them up, but they will also deliver. Now, for those of you who are like, well, what if I don't want to ship my book on my own? You use a drop shipper. And so that would be another conversation. So, all right, let's see. Oh, well, thank you, Sincere. I appreciate it. I don't know if you're still here. I love music history and stories about groups. How do you turn that into a book? So again, my thing is this. I'm teaching my specific target audience. So I don't do all types of books. So I don't do poetry books. I don't do cookbooks. I don't do biographies and memoirs. Specifically, my audience that I serve, where I can help, are individuals who wish to be speakers, coaches, or in the network marketing space that want to grow their business. And the way that they grow, why am I so zoomed in? What in the world? Okay. But anyways, the way that they grow their business is by leveraging the right book. So I can't really give y'all advice on stuff that I don't do. For somebody that wants to talk about music history and stuff, I wouldn't necessarily know unless you want to be a speaker on music history, right? So for example, let's say that you want to speak on the history of music. The way that you could do a book on that is kind of very similar to like Dennis Kimbro. So I don't know if y'all know who Dennis Kimbro is, but he did Think and Grow Rich, A Black Choice. Well, he simply created a book where he interviewed several Black and people of color multimillionaires and billionaires. He simply interviewed them, just like Napoleon Hill did in Think and Grow Rich. He interviewed them, but he did it in a different style where he really, acknowledged who, the specific people and stuff like that and who they were. And so let's say you want to do something about music history. Well, you can always, of course, have chapters where you're talking about different people who are maybe no longer here, but then also reach out to musicians who are big names. Believe it or not, in the music world, while some people are renowned artists, they're easy to find and easy to touch. Maybe you might want to make a book that's dedicated to all these artists of color or something like that people don't even know are some of the best in the world. And you interview them, right? And so now that you interview them, they have their own dedicated chapter. And then maybe between each chapter, you can also teach individuals how to get into the music industry. So as you can see, guys, I teach you how to create a how-to book versus just a book about information, right? So I would always recommend turning it into something that's instructional based on my audience and who I serve. So that's an example of how you'd be able to turn something like that. I don't know if DJ Retro is still here, but hopefully that served somebody. Listen, guys, I also want to encourage you. I have a free masterclass that you can register for. It's free. And if you decide you also want to upgrade to purchase copies of my books, you can. But the masterclass is about 15 minutes. And in the masterclass, I teach 3 mistakes. I'm about to say 10, but I start off with 3. 3 mistakes that authors are actually making and why they never make money. And so I think that if you want to get some really good information, go to 10kbook.com. I'm trying to type this in here to see if it'll go through, but 10kbook.com, the number 10K, because again, my goal is to show 1,000 authors this year how to generate $10,000 a month, week, or day. We have individuals having $10,000 plus days leveraging their books. And there's so many ways to leverage them, guys. It's not just about, let me print the book and print it and they will come. No, this is a marketing tool. This should be leveraged. This should be used. I can't tell you how many authors I know where people don't even know they've written a book because on their social media, you've never seen them even talk about it. You've never even seen them read from it. In fact, today is, National Reading Day or something like that? I want to challenge you. If you are an author, go and take an excerpt from your book. I'm going to do it. I'm going to read something from my book as soon as I'm done with y'all. And I'm going to read an excerpt and then kind of dive into it a little bit more. And then at the end, I'm going to create a call to action because every single one of my books, there's an intention. I don't just want you to read the book. I want you to then get what you need to get from it, learn from it, and then take the next step. There's always a next step. In fact, in the network marketing world, we called it BAM fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So every single time. So what did I just do with you guys? I offered every single one of you a chance to register for my free masterclass. All you got to do, matter of fact, let me just put the link right here. If you go to www.10kbook.com, this is my free masterclass. It is only 15 minutes long, so it's not as long as this broadcast, but it's 15 minutes long. And when you go there, you get an option if you want to purchase my books. I'm doing something really, really special too. For those of you guys, you can purchase 1 copy, or you can get all 4 of my books. I've written way more than 4, but I have 4 that I'm promoting, which is my 10K book, Don't Go Broke Trying to Be a Business Owner, because I get a lot of business owners who don't think they need to be authors. I'm like, y'all don't get it. You don't get it, right? Or How Not to Be a Broke Author is the other one. And then my very first book, A 6-Figure Vision, very first book till today is still one of my favorites. In fact, that's the book that I'm taking with me to South Africa. I'm going to South Africa next week. I cannot believe that I'm saying that. Bruh, I put South Africa on my wall at the beginning of the year that I wanted to go to South Africa. I don't do vision boards. I do pictures. So if you ever come in my house, you'll see I have pictures of the cars that I want. I have pictures of, things that I want to do, conferences, like how big I want my conferences to be. I've got pictures of where I want to be. So anyways, I put a picture up of that. And I also put a picture up of TEDx. Now I'm already an official TEDx speaker. I am on the TEDx website. However, I want to do more. And the first TEDx that I did was virtual. So anyways, long story short, I put it up. And y'all, not only are we going to South Africa, but we're doing a TEDx experience. I'm super excited. So anywho, you get all 4 for the price of 3. And when you purchase them, okay, if you purchase them on the day that you register for the challenge, you also, if you purchase all 4, you also get a free general admission ticket to my 5K and 5-day challenge. Now, not to brag, y'all, I'm waiting on some more questions. So if anybody has another question, let me know. Not to brag, but I had a young lady the other day who told me that she attended our challenge. And she's supposed to be sending me a video chat. I'm about to hound her for this video. But she told me this year, and I get it, a lot of us, we're getting into the space where we're investing into ourselves. And if anybody invested into themselves this year, spent money on coaching or self-development or personal growth, if you have, just say me. And what I've been seeing is it's a trend. It's people that are spending a lot of money, 10, 20, 30, 75, $100,000 for these coaching programs. And I'm going to be honest, y'all, until you know exactly like who you serve, how you serve them, or like who do you want to serve. Never let someone tell you like what you really are passionate about. Does that make sense? Like you should be able to figure that out. And yes, through some coaching and questioning, yes, they should be able to help you. But until you like know the foundational stuff, spending $50,000 and $75,000 on coaching, you're going to find yourself getting into a space where you're going to spend a lot of money and not get any results. And so the young lady said, man, I've spent this year alone in 2022. She said, I spent over $40,000 in other coaches. She came to our 5K and 5-day challenge where we have 2 registrations. We got our general admission where if you get 4 books, you get 1 for free. You said this guy, look at y'all. I see y'all investing in yourself. Tanya, right? King Jory is I don't want to pronounce that wrong. Jory. Very unique name. So yeah, people are spending money on their coaching and not getting results. And she said, this is the first time and my VIP is only $297. And we give you a money back guarantee if you don't like it for $297. The goal is in 5 days or less, we help you to earn up to $5,000. At minimum, if you follow what we teach you, you'll earn at least $1,000, right? In 5 days. And so she said, listen, I followed everything you told me. And she said, I've done that too in other courses and I followed everything they told me, no results. I followed everything you told me in 5 days. And she was like, not only did I pre-sell like 60 to 90 books, I don't remember the exact number because we have so many people that are selling a lot of books, 60 to 90 books, right? If you do 50, that's over $1,000 in sales. So 60 to 90 books. Plus, I also got sponsored ads and sponsored chapters, which, by the way, that's anywhere between $100 to $500 per person, depending upon which one it is. She had already been made her money back and more. And she's like, this is the only program in 5 days that I've ever made this kind of money. And the challenge that I'm seeing with a lot of people is by the time they come to me, because I'm not gonna do all of these things that and no shade, no tea, y'all. I'm not trying to be shady. But I don't want to have to do the flashy things for y'all to believe that we're having success, or, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes we get so caught up in that and we're like, dang, but not realizing that this person has had to grind to get to where they are, to get to what they have. It takes work. It takes clarity. It takes understanding who your audience is. And many people that come to me, by the time they come to me, if they've invested in somebody else, honey, they be like, listen, I'm over it. I can't invest in nothing else because I'm not getting any results. Well, what I can tell you is this. I can't guarantee that you'll get results, but I can guarantee this. If you don't invest into the right opportunities, you can never get to that next level. You got to start asking God for discernment when you make those investments. And if this particular person is for the right time, because sometimes you might make an investment into a coach and it's not the right time yet. Does that make sense, guys? So Do you think mental health is a big market? Do you think mental health is a big market to surround a book around and possibly landing on speaking engagements? Do I think mental health is a big market? I know mental health is a big market. In fact, oh man, I think we hit an hour. Doot, doot. So we're still live on the other platforms, but I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up because I believe we hit an hour. That's why it shut off on Instagram. Um, so I'll just have to answer that on the next live. I am going to probably go live again. I don't know exactly when. I'm thinking maybe Monday night is when I plan to do another live. So just be on the lookout to see if we're going live on Monday. I'll do my best to kind of reschedule it and make it work right. So, all right, guys. Well, God bless you.